That's the recording. There we go.
So, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this lovely morning. Are there any announcements that anyone would like to make?
I would. This
Okay,
is great.
so then I would like to introduce our Toastmaster for this morning, Eric Schneider. Take it away, Eric.
Thank you. Kay had an announcement.
Okay, Kate, sounds
Thanks.
good.
Thanks, guys. This coming Sunday is the fourth annual Cycle the Erie at Lockport, but it's the 27th annual Cycle the Erie, and a bunch of the Lockport Toastmasters volunteered in the past. Come on out if you're interested in seeing hundreds of cyclists who are riding from Buffalo to Albany, the whole length of the Erie Canal next week. They'll pass through Lockport on their first day, Sunday morning. So we'll be helping. Come out and visit just for an hour or the whole time from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. The busiest action is between 10 and noon. And our lock tenders like David Licata and others will be there. There's a kind of a party going on. So come on out. And then I'm sure Eric will share more details about Saturday. It's finally our big ditch day. So back to you.
All right. Thank you, Kate. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday morning. Today's theme is grandmothers, and today is a very special day. Today is my grandmother's 101st birthday. So we want to wish her a happy 101st birthday. We'll be celebrating with her later on this evening. And I'd be able to share my screen. I'll show you this lovely woman real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, this is her, my wonderful, loving grandmother, Angela. She still has her mindset, stubborn as always. Is this recorded? No, just kidding. But no, she's my last grandmother, and we've been taking good care of her after my grandfather died, which I can't believe is almost 10 years ago. So, but she's still doing good. I miss her cooking though because she used to make good spaghetti, make homemade spaghetti sauce. She'll make some Italian cookies like the Giadottis. That's like those fig Newtons. There's a word I want to say, but I will say that at the end when we stop the recording. But this is my grandmother, and I'm looking forward to celebrating her 101st birthday. So with that, I will invite up our inspirator this morning, Margot Sue Bittner. Good morning, Margot.
Good morning, Toastmaster Eric. With the theme of grandmothers, I had a inspirational quote about what the role grandmothers play in our lives. Grandmothers are the voices of the past, the role models of the present. Grandmothers open the doors to the future. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Margot. All right, let's get into our job holders this morning. Our word master this morning is Jill Roaring. Is Jill on?
No sign of Jill yet.
They did confirm, both of them,
Oh, there
actually.
she is. She has to
Right.
unmute. There she is.
Sorry about that. Alarm went off and then we overslept. Okay. I went very simple with the word of the day today because there was only one thing I could think of when I thought of grandmothers, and that is love, which I don't know how it's showing up here with the screensaver. I don't think I need to define it, but I will write it down in the word of, I will put it in the chat. And I will keep track of it and report it as we get through things.
All right. Thank you very much, Jill. Our on master this morning is Carol Ann. Good morning, Carol Ann. Is she on? No, I don't see Carol Ann. Not yet. All right, we'll come back if she jumps on. If not, then we'll do a little housekeeping. But we do have our grammarian, which is Phil Russell. Good morning, Phil.
Good morning, Eric. Good morning.
Good God, I thought I was the grammarian.
Well, you could be the grammarian if you'd like, Dave.
I don't understand this. I answered it and everything, you know.
We gotta look. We gotta look on the computer, Dave.
I did.
All right. Well, Mr. Toastmaster, thank you much. My grandmothers all loved us. I had two of them, but to quote one of my grandmother on my father's side, Grandma Russell, who was a Hannigan, they said, it's time for you to go to bed. You got arthritis. Sit down. And her quote was, once you sit down, you never get up. And I believe in that. Keep myself busy all the time, because once you sit down, you'll never get up. And as grammarian, I will watch your grammar. It is my worstest of all jobs because that was my least favorite subject in school. English and grammar. Oh, I butchered the King's English, the Queen's English, and anybody else's English that came along. So I will be watching out for your grammar today. Thank you much, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Phil. Our quote master this morning is Mary. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning. My grandma just turned 91 years old. A grandma's love, a garden of love is in a grandmother's heart.
Very
Back
nice.
to you,
Very
Eric.
nice. Very nice. Thank you, Mary. And tell your grandmother I wish her a happy birthday.
I will.
Our jester this morning is Mark Campos. Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. Good morning. There is no shortage of grandmother jokes on the internet. Most are rather cringeworthy. So while we are told as Toastmasters we should never apologize, I'm really sorry in advance. So here we go. Grandma was famous for her delicious strawberries. She made me promise that when she died, I would plant strawberries over her grave so everyone could visit and enjoy them. I fulfilled her wish. She's dead and buried.
Oh.
When Grandma died, I had her cremated and put her ashes in a trophy that said, "World's Best Grandma." She earned it. And lastly, so we don't descend too far into the depths, I just put my grandma on speed dial. I call it Instagram. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Oh my God. Thank you, Mark. All right. Moving on. Our timer this morning is Len Thornton. Len.
I didn't know I was timer. Okay. I'm going to give people color cues as dictated by the parameters of their role for table topics, evaluators, and program speakers. Evaluators, please indicate the length of the speech you'll be evaluating. And, well, you guys all know the drill. Thank you.
Thank you, Len. Our quiz master this morning is Mike Licata.
Good morning, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. My job this morning will be to listen intently on the meeting and write down a couple of questions and report back at the end of the meeting with the questions. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Mike. And our general evaluator this morning is David Jones. Good morning, David.
Morning, Mr. Toastmaster, and good morning, fellow Toastmasters. This morning I'll be the general evaluator. evaluating the meeting as a whole, as well as the evaluators, and possibly even call upon the functionaries at the end of the meeting. So back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, David. I would like to propose a toast. Here's to our grandmothers, our grandfathers, to whom we all love and cherish the memories that we always have with our grandparents. So here's to our grandparents. All right, it's time for table topics. Our table topics master this morning is Les Robinson. Good morning, Les.
Hey, Eric, if I can interrupt you, it looks like
Yeah.
Carol Ann is coming in, so you will have
Okay.
an master if you stall just long enough for her to introduce.
Yes, I can stall for a quick second. There's Carol Ann. And she is our master this morning. Good morning, Carol. You're on mute.
Oh, now can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Today I will be the master. I will be listening for ahs, ums, pregnant pauses, and report at the end of the meeting. Is now the time to mention grandmother?
Yes.
Okay. My paternal grandmother lived in Pennsylvania, but we went to see her almost on a monthly basis when my dad would have a long weekend. And she was the typical older lady, but she was a no nonsense. And my maternal grandmother lived in Fulton, New York, and she was definitely a tough lady and very no nonsense. But I was very glad that in my childhood I was able to spend time with both of them. Eric.
Thank you very much, Carolyn. That's a wonderful story. Thank you very much for sharing. All right, let's turn things over back to Les Robinson, who is our table topics master. Take it away, Les.
Thank you, Eric. Hey, quick question. What is the word of the day today? I did not catch that.
It is love.
Love. The word of today is love. Okay. Love. We played Love Shack by B-52s. Okay, if I've got this right, Sylvia, Mike, and Marshall are the only three not doing anything today, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Sylvia, you're first. How does that sound? You ready, Sylvia?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay. Basically, what is your favorite memory with your grandmother?
I'm sorry, would you repeat that?
What is your favorite memory with your grandmother?
My favorite memory of my grandmother, I have many favorite memories. My mother's mother moved in the year I was born. She moved into our house. So she kind of raised me with my mother. So I have many memories. The best one is when the house was cold and it was a Thursday morning, ironic Thursdays, she would make Italian bread. And she just didn't make a couple loaves, for us during the week. She made a huge batch for the whole family. And I'm talking about her sons would come over by the weekend and pick it up. There were a couple loaves. We had loaves at our house. My aunt would come over and pick up a couple loaves for her family. So she fed the whole family for good 20 years that I know at our home. And she loved baking. She just loved it. So with that bread dough, we would have Italian pizza. and I call it the white pizza. It's not like what you get today at the pizza places. It was with olive oil on top and garlic, and it was more like bread. Again, she loved baking, and she loved baking pies, not cakes or anything like that. Pies, sometimes cookies, but she left that to my mother to do. But she did show her love through baking, and that was my one of the favorite memories because she warmed up the house, and the smell when you walked in from school of fresh baked bread. Thank you, Mr. Table Topics.
Thank you, Sylvia. My next person will be Mike Florio. And I think this is a good question for Mike.
Oh,
and when I was writing these up, I was actually thinking about this for you. So, what is one, because you're always talking about lessons, what is one lesson your grandmother taught you that you still carry today?
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. And my one grandmother on my mom's side, I never met, right? She passed away. She had nine kids, and she passed away early at 48. But my grandmother on my father's side, Millie, we'd go visit them in Brooklyn, and she'd come here and visit with us, with her husband, Daniel, from time to time. And I was really young, and my aunt was kind of like a bingo junkie. Okay. Every time she came to Lockport, she would go to bingo. And, I would tag along, little Mikey. All right. And little Mikey would kind of, I loved going with her. So we'd go to bingo everywhere in Lockport. And here I was, my aunt, she'd have 5 cards, here, and and then she'd be dabbing everything, and she'd be yelling at the guy, shake up your balls. I go, oh my God, this is my grandmother. Okay. And I loved going with her. And one time I won at DeSales. I won $25. It was like I had won, I hit the lottery because I was with my grandmother coming home, and I've got my $25, and I'm going, wow, I won. I actually won. And I keep that with me all the time. Now, has that, sparked a gambling addiction for me? Not really, but I still, I still love to, scream it out, bingo. And I remember my grandmother every time I do that.
Awesome.
Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Mike. Next person I pick is Marshall. Marshall, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. What was your grandmother known for in your family or in your community?
No, in my family. Oh, okay. I am in Tibet now, and I'm lacking oxygen. So when I feel uncomfortable, I always think about my grandma. It's like Sheldon think about his Mima. My grandma is famous for alive, saving money alive, because she was born in 1930s, and she saw how Japanese kill Chinese people, and in 1960s, he saw how many people died for famine. Maybe only that 3 years, more than 20 million Chinese people died for famine. So she usually talk about that story to me. And she know all the wild grass, which grass can eat. And she even know how to use the peel of the tree to cook. So I still remember many food, and I can't find now because they are wild grass. Now I want to eat, but I can't find them. For that 3 years, my grandparents they go to another province for homeless, for beggar, and even they had a lot of food and a big corn, but they had to submit to the government because in that time government didn't allow any people had their own food or any money property. So that's a communist society. You can't have any belongings. About 1/3 of my village people died, and so, but my grandma alive, and she brought up 4 children, and now we're a very big family. So she's very famous for alive. Thank you.
Thank you, Marshall. Could I have a timers report, Len?
Certainly, Sylvia spoke for 2 minutes, 3 seconds. She qualified. Mike Florio spoke for 2 minutes and 1 second, also qualifying. Marshall went a little long. Came in at 2:52. I think there was some video problems. I'm not sure if he saw my stoplight cues there, but he would be over even with the buffer at 2:52.
All right, thank you, Len. Jill, did everybody use the word of the day today?
I'm not sure if Sylvia used it. Did you use it, Sylvia? Yes, she did. Okay. So Sylvia used it. Mike used it at the very end. And Marshall did use it at the very end as well.
Okay. All righty. Well, thank you. Thank you, everybody. And we will pass it back to Eric, our Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Les. Thank you very much. The poll should be coming out in just a second, so please mark your votes for Sylvia or Mike. All right, before we get into our speaking portion of the meeting, I'll show you my grandmother, Joan. This is my dad's mom. She was a wonderful woman, full of life, full of wonder, and down to earth woman. She was the greatest. Sadly, she passed away 4 years ago, Memorial Day weekend, and I miss her every day. And I know she's watching down on me with great admiration and love. That is my grandmother. I see a little bit of my dad in her too, but she was wonderful. All right, time for the speaking portion of the meeting. I'd like to invite up to the Zoom lectern Joe Butnick, who is evaluating Steve Smith this morning. Joe.
Thank you, Eric. Do you have his title by any chance?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do have his title. His time is 5 to 7 minutes.
Okay.
Do you have his parameters of what he's going to be talking about?
No, I don't. I don't really know anything.
All right. Well,
are you there, Steve?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool.
This wasn't a book speech, so I'm afraid there wasn't much to tell about it.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
All right.
I would hazard a guess it's 5 to 7 minutes then, Steve?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, thank you.
All right. Fellow Toastmasters, please help me welcome Steve Smith, a home healthcare visit. Steve Smith.
Good morning. Now, I have an awful lot going on right at the moment. not the least of which is our annual Buffalo Astronomic Association picnic this Saturday at the Kroger Park, which also happens to be our next star search. And yes, this is a cheap plug. I encourage people to come out to this because this will be a great night to come out. I'll have a lot of astronomers and telescopes because they come down to the picnic. I feed them and then I get some work out of them. So that's a big thing going on, arranging all of that. Also, somebody decided I had to speak this week. So the last thing I really needed was this home health care visit by WellCare, which is what I'm going to speak about this morning. Now, this is something my insurance company requires. It sounds like something I should do. And I've been through these before. They're weird. But let me try to explain this. I get a call from the insurance company. They say, we want to set up this home care visit. Okay. Now the guy's going to call you and we'll set up a time. And we did, which was yesterday. And the guy gives me a call. I'll be there somewhere between 9 a.m. and noon. And I'm thinking, swell, that's just like waiting for the cable guy to show up. But all right, I'm ready. He gets there about 10 o'clock. So that's okay. We're doing good. First thing he wants to do is go over all my medications. So I just loaded them in a quart basket and hauled them all out. We set up outside there because there was more room to sprawl. And we're going over all the medication. Well, why are you taking this? Why are you taking that? I don't know. Why don't you ask my doctor? He's the one that told me to take these things. I told him what I could about them, but I'm not a doctor. I talk with my doctor a lot and I listen to my doctor, but all the actual reasons, I don't know. So I'm doing the best I can to tell him why I'm doing these things, why I'm taking this. All right. So we go over all the medicines. And then we start playing 20 questions. Do you have any history of heart disease? No. Do you have any history, shortness of breath? No. Do you have any kidney disease, lung disease? No, I don't have any of these. Then we got to go through, did your parents have any of these? No, not really. Didn't have any of this stuff. No. All right. We go through all of this. He says, could you walk for 20 minutes without being short of breath? I'm thinking, you want to go for a walk? Certainly I can do that. That's not a problem. So he wants to take my blood pressure. He gets out this little cuff thing, puts it on my wrist, and he puts the dingus over into your finger. I guess that's for your pulse rate. And he says, so just sit there for a second. And he got some numbers. He said, now stand up. So I stood up. He said, put your arm like this. And I stood there for a few minutes. He's looking at these numbers. He said, well, you should be drinking more water. He could tell that from whatever those numbers were. I said, I drink a ton of water right now, particularly when it's hot out and I'm out there in the garden working. I drink a lot of fluids. Well, he didn't have an answer for that. But I'm already doing that. I'm not going to drink more. If I need it, I want it. Sometimes I can go out, work in the garden for an hour. Now I can just inhale a whole those half-liter bottles of water because my system needs it, and I take it. So now we got to go all these questions. Let's see. Oh, yeah, about my history. Were you ever a smoker? Or no, were your parents ever a smoker was the first thing. Yes, back in those days, everybody smoked. Both my parents smoked. My brother smoked. I smoked. Uh-huh. But I quit some 28 years ago. Now he's got my age there. He says, so you were 44? I said, no, 42 when I quit smoking. Yeah. This guy's on top of his game. And he's looking at my medications and he's telling me about the vitamin B12. Why are you taking it? My doctor told me to take vitamin B12. Well, you don't really need all that much. I think that's my doctor's decision to make. Now, I got the opinion that this guy kind of his mind made up about stuff where he even opened his mouth. And he's telling me stuff that to me is contrary to what my doctor is telling me. Well, guess what? I'm going to listen to what my doctor's telling me. I'm doing this because the insurance company requested it. I'm not sure why, because I don't agree with a lot of what he's telling me, but I'm trying to help him, trying to give him the right answers. Then we get to the fun one. Do you drink? Yeah. Not like I used to 20, 30 years ago, but yeah, I still have an occasional drink. I expected to get a rise out of him about that, but I really didn't. I remember the first time back when I was 18, I had to do a physical for college. The doctor asked me the same question: "Do you drink?" And back then I said, "Sure." He said, "Wine, beer, liquor?" I said, "Yeah." I think that was, 50 years ago. I don't drink like that anymore, but I do like an occasional drink. So we go on and on with all these questions. DJ, go on and on about all this, and I'm trying to be reasonable to him. And then he says, "Do you ever have any depression?" No, I'm pretty happy right now. You ever have thoughts of suicide? So I'm looking straight at it. Suicide? No. Homicide? Maybe. He wasn't in the mood for any of this stuff. But we got through all of it, I guess, and he was more or less happy. Now, I'm 71 years old now, so I do take my health seriously. I see my doctors regular. I listen to my doctors. I know I've made light of this whole home care visit because I think it's not a very serious thing to me anyway. They're not, I don't know what they're trying to do, but I listen to my doctor. I advise all of you to listen to your doctor and do what they tell you to do, and just put up with your health insurance because they got to pay for this. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Steve. Our second speaker this morning is Kate Orr, and her evaluator this morning is Maggie Craig. Good morning, Maggie.
Good morning. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. This morning, well, before I tell you what Kate's going to do, I'm just going to say a tiny little blurb about my grandma. My grandmother's name was Pearl, which means a light. And my grandmother is still shining her light many years after she's left us. She had 13 children. She had 18 pregnancies, 13 children that survived, and 38 grandchildren. We've lost count. It goes on and on and on. And my grandmother, if you think I have to have a little stool to get up to the microphone, my grandmother was 3 inches shorter than me. And so she was just a little woman. She's here. And as you can see, grandma. So that's my grandma. Okay, Catherine, Kate is going to speak this morning on, wow, she's on level 4. Wow. And she is doing a 15-minute speech, 15 to, somebody has to help me out because
The parameter says 15, but because we had 3 speakers today, all who wanted to speak, we'll stick with 5 to 7.
Yeah, I was going to mention that you were going to do 5 to 7, but the parameters are 15. So I imagine if she goes over, she's not really going over. Her speech title is AM Lockport website question and answer. And the purpose of her speech this morning is for the member to learn about and practice facilitating a question and answer session, and to practice delivering an informative speech in a well-organized question and answer session. And the member is responsible for managing time so that there is adequate opportunity for both. We're going to be listening for a well-organized informational speech and a great question and answer session. And I look forward to Kate's speech, AM Lockport website question and answer. Take it away, Kate.
Kate, if I could interrupt, I didn't catch the timing again.
5 to 7 minutes.
5 to 7 total?
5 to 7 total. Go ahead, Kate.
Go ahead.
Thanks, everybody. Yes, it's 15 to 20-minute speech, but we don't have time for that unless someone decided they didn't want to speak, and everybody wanted to speak today. So thank you, everyone, for speaking even at the last minute. But now your schedule is mostly on the website, and I did email the quarter. Mary and Derek and I worked on Saturday to set this up. So mostly I'd love to see, you can either raise your hand or just interrupt me or use the little raise hand icon. There's a lot of ways. We are all at different skill sets for Zoom as well as everything else. Can you see my screen if you have your screen on? Good, good. Okay, so I'll minimize that again. So I have saved on my auto bookmarks here our AM Lockport Club website, the District 65 Club website, and the Toastmaster International website. And so we're just going to look at these real quick. And the focus here today is mostly on this in this time period. And I'm learning something every day about this. For example, on this website, did you know you can see our YouTube videos? They're right here. If you ever just come onto the direct website, amlockport.tm.org, before you even log in, you have access to everything on the main menu side here. I would love everybody to explore it as you can. And like I said, during this time, just interrupt me with questions. You can unmute yourself and interrupt because I may not be able to see you, or raise your hand, either the icon in the little chat bar at the bottom or your literal hand you can raise. So this is how most of us get onto our Zoom meetings, because Eric is awesome enough to have this right on the front. Len built this many moons ago. It is automatically, I thought you did, you were involved in it, but it's free from, Toast is free from Toastmasters International. So it's kind of a template. Len is like, I wouldn't do it this way, but we have to. This is kind of what's free. So anything on this side is the main menu that any guests or outsiders can access. Then we have this members only section below. And this in the middle is something Eric updates fairly frequently, and any of the other administrators can. So you can get onto the website for Zoom meetings here. You can look at our prior meeting videos here on YouTube, and then the social media links. Mary is now our VP of PR, and she and Eric and Les have worked a lot on these in the past. We have the current officers. We have, look at this, Eric added this week's theme, and it just goes and goes. There's more resources towards the bottom, a group photo from years back, and then every TI club that has Free Toast has these bottom bars. They're all the same. But look at all these options. I encourage you to explore. I don't hear any questions, but anybody is welcome to dive in if you see something or hear something that you'd like to know more about in our brief time doing this quick mini tutorial. So you log in here, and what I'd like to focus on today is the agendas. Dave Licata, are you there? Because Dave, I have an answer for you. When you said, where are you? Let me find you. Did he leave us? Well, when he's back, maybe I'll show it to him. So Dave said, I thought I was the grammarian this week. Raise your hand if you ever get emails telling you you have a job. I want to see this. Emails that tell you you have a job, right? When we set up the whole quarter on one day, you get all the emails, and you think you get a lot of emails, but the president and the VP of E get all the emails in like triplicate again and again. So you think you're getting downloaded. Well, Dave Licata, this is for you. You got an email that said you're a grammarian, but it's not for this date. Be sure when you see those dates, and especially when we put a whole quarter up, you're getting all the notifications of all the roles you've been assigned for the entire quarter. So check the date. I think you're grammarian in August sometime, but let's,
So Kate,
go
if
ahead.
not a question necessarily, but
Dive in.
just a general statement. Are you saying then that as a general rule, it would be a best practice to check the agenda online sometime before the meeting? Is that what you're saying?
What a great question, Mark. And I can hear it in
I
your voice.
checked the agenda, which I thought was for this week. Oh my God, I'm heartily sorry. I thought it was for this week. When
It's
you send
ongoing.
so much,
It's not you, sir.
when you send so much
It applies
information, sometimes I
to
get
the whole club,
confused.
Dave. It applies to the whole club, Dave, not you. I'm not picking on you.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me show you this, and I'm doing this quick for the meeting, and I might just video record this eventually and we can load it in. So here's your member login. I know some of the folks on here, even though they're not new members, haven't done this either before or in a long time. You start entering your email that your account is under, but then you click to the name that pops up. And then typically this is auto-saved, but it's acting funny. So thank you for
it's acting funny. Son of a gun.
It's my computer because I was having computer issues too. But okay, so there it is. So there it is. They popped up automatically. And now we're going in, and it's pretty quick. And this is what I'm focusing on, meeting agendas. I know you got a lot of emails at once, but we would rather do a quarter schedule than do it once a week. And so we put out it, and you can ignore those emails or read them carefully. And it's up to you how we get into it. So here's the meeting agendas. Now, they're not even all fully done, and I'll show you why. Our newest members were asking me about this agenda and the minute by minute. So I'm fixing some of the minute by minutes. But in any case, this is today's agenda. That's what pops up right away. The next agenda that's coming up. You click on if you confirm, etc., that you're taking a role, or you X out if you can't take a role.
That's the agenda for today, right?
Correct. So the grammarian, for example,
where's the part about the Pledge of Allegiance?
The pledge is not on here. So let's do that at the end. David, if you would like to lead it, because I know you haven't said anything yet. About half the clubs in America do the Pledge of Allegiance, half don't, and most around the other parts of the world don't. It is not a TI kind of a thing, but it is a club culture thing here in our club. So we could do that towards the end. I'll apologize for that because I, as you see listed, was supposed to call the meeting to order, but had some technical difficulties. On here, we have the agendas that have all been loaded for the whole quarter till the end of September. So you can click ahead and see, find a replacement if needed. And before my time is up, I do want to point out down here at the bottom, Len helps us out with the schedule. Mary, Eric, and I emailed you all on Saturday the whole quarter. So if you don't want to look at it day by day, you can look at the spreadsheet. But you also can find it here because Len puts it on here. I'm going to pull this up just so we can see it. And this is what we work off of. So this is the first quarter schedule, and soon the third quarter will be on too, the first and second. So you can look back and see, oh yeah, when did I do this? Or you could print this out and then you know what you're doing for the quarter.
Okay,
I'm pretty much out of time.
That is the wrong schedule.
No, this is the first. Guys, I said this is the old schedule. So it is the wrong for now. And it hasn't been uploaded yet because I just sent it to Len last week. And we all don't have Toastmasters as a full-time job. So take a look. And again, there's old schedule and new schedule. So typically the most recent schedule is shown under the old schedule, and the one we're currently working with is new. I just sent it out Saturday. It's the summertime, so this hasn't been updated quite yet. But typically within the next couple of weeks, you'll see that. So if that's what you mean by it's wrong, it's wrong. However, everyone knows I was late on this, so that is no fault of Len's. Except then I'd say everybody take your time to look through all these options, and maybe another time we'll go through District 65 or TI, but you're all adults and can explore that on your own time as well. And let me know if you need those. I'm very much out of time, so I'll pass it back to you, Eric. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Kate. That was very good Q&A session. Where is my agenda? Our third and final speaker this morning is our Indiana Jones Toastmaster, Dr. Gerald Stevens, and his evaluator is Marty Johnston. Good morning, Marty.
Good morning, Eric, fellow Toastmasters, and any guests. And Gerald, this morning, Gerald is speaking from Pathways Dynamic Leadership Path. It's a level 3 elective, and the project is concerning Connect with Storytelling. Timer 5 to 7 minutes. The purpose of the speech is for the member to focus on using stories in a speech or creating a speech that is a story. As I said, time is 5 to 7 minutes. The title is Go West, My Man. Go West, My Man, Dr. Gerald Stevens.
Okay. Before we start, Mr. Timer, I just wanted to talk a little about my grandmothers. I had two, luckily enough. One we used to visit once a week over in Canada, Niagara Falls, Canada. She had 8 kids, We'd go visit them all the time. She'd give us a pile of pop bottles. We'd go cash them in at the Five and Dime. It was the best thing ever. Candy every week. Good times for young kids. My other grandmother had 10 kids, so we have a very large family. A number of them went in the military. I remember one particular story. You guys remember the Three Stooges, where they used to put the pie in the face all the time? Probably remember that. I remember watching Three Stooges as a kid. I said, hey, that'd be pretty fun. My grandmother was there, and she said, huh, I'll do that for you. She was all for that. Nowadays, as a grandparent, I'm like, huh, I might want to put a pie in the face of one of my grandkids. So she actually did it as a surprise one time. It was very yummy, by the way. But at the time, I was like, wow. It's funny how you think back about these things. So now we can start our official speech. Mr. Timer. It was June, beginning of June, hot summer day, field day with the chiropractic college. Had all the students out. We were playing kickball. Good times. I love playing kickball. Kicked one out to the middle, right over the shortstop, and I was running, and I was running, and I was running. And I was going into second base. The ball's coming in. Oh no, they're going to tag me out. The student's in the middle of the plate. I better stop. So I stopped, put my hands out. I'm going to crush this poor kid. And twing goes the hamstring. Oh my God, so much pain. I better go sit down. Young man or old man, depending on how you look at it. So I sat down. Minor conundrum. I have vacation in 2 months. How am I going to do this? I just pulled my hamstring, and I tend to have active vacations. As some of you know, I'm a lover of national parks. My quest, spurred by a suggestion from Kate Orr to accomplish all the national parks. I had 3 on the agenda. Tickets paid, everything ready to go. How am I going to do this? I'm going to walk around these national parks. Not to mention that one of the national parks requires you go up 157 steps after an hour-and-a-half boat ride. I can't do steps right now. We got a problem. So I said, well, what are we going to do? We're going to cancel everything. We got travel. Nah, we'll just go for it. What the hell? So I nursed it back to health. Off we're going to go. So 3 national parks. So I do have a PowerPoint to share because I love to show the visuals. So I'm going to share the screen. And please tell me if you can see this. Can we see this?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. So this is Santa Monica Pier. So we went out west to California. Go west, young man was a term that was put forth by Horace Greeley, editor of New York Tribune, many years ago. Try to get people to go out for adventure and explore the Old West. So we went out there. The national parks that we explored. Sequoia National Park. Gigantic sequoias. This is the General Sherman tree. Me and my wife in front of that. So big. Your neck's like in pain because you're looking up and looking around. So many giant trees. The General Sherman tree has been around so long, 2,300 to 2,700 years. That's the time of Plato and Aristotle. That is crazy. Crazy town. That's so old and it's still growing. That's the crazy part of it all. So these trees are huge. And you can see one that fell over there with my wife there, the base of it. She looks like an ant. That's how big they are. So we started off there. Some of these trees you can actually drive through, and you used to be able to drive upon. So that is a arch they made, and you can actually drive your car right through and come all the way back if you so desired. Because I had to go up 157 steps, I said, well, maybe we should test out the old hamstring a little bit. So maybe we should go on a hike. And I met my old college buddy sidekick that I've talked about a few times, lives in California, my old buddy Damon. He said, yeah, we can go on a 5-mile hike, no problem. Yeah, sure. So we hiked, and there's a place called Mora Rock. Let's get a good view. It's all about the view, right? So we're hiking. You get to the Moor Rock. Hey, there's an awful lot of steps on this Moor Rock. I didn't know there was any steps. There is 350 steps. So I gave it a good solid try. And it was hot. And we made it back, and I didn't injure myself. So, well, I could probably do this second leg of the trip. Great. Wow, a little stressful, but hey, I could do it. Thankfully, there's people around, and it wouldn't have been a major issue. I did hurt myself, but I was able to persevere. We did go to another national park called Pinnacles National Park just for a brief visit. Also in California. California's got 9 national parks. That's insane. So they got quite a few. More of a deserty kind of park and some pinnacle type views of rocks which people like to go rock climb on. The main goal, though, is to go to this place called Channel Islands National Park. And I have a map here for you because where the heck is this? It's in California, obviously, but we're in California. So we got Ventura. You might know that. There's LA there. So they got these series of islands there, Channel National Park. And there's a picture of the sign and the 157 steps that I would have to go up. My wife is like, 157 steps? I'm out. I'm not doing it. So I was going by myself. Not that there weren't other people there. And like I said, it's all about the view. So this is some of the views that we saw there. Very rock, jaggy, desert-like. That national park, you have to hike in if you wanted to stay over there. It's very primitive campsites. You have to bring in your own water. They don't even have water there. You bring in all your food. Luckily, the ocean's right there. You could swim to cool off if you are hot. It is well known as it's the 8th best dive site, actually, because they have a kelp forest there. So you can kind of see some of that. But it does have a desert kind of like views of some flowers here, so very pretty as you're walking around. It's only 5 miles big. I went to Anacapa Island. And here you can see some of a picture of someone else who dived because I can't swim. So I didn't dive. But they have a nice arch with the sailboat here that I got. And you can see all the bird droppings there. So that's why they have the kelp forest, because they have all the bird droppings that feed all the plants. So it's a nice ecosystem. And one of my colleagues called Anacapa Island, just because of the arch. But in the end, it wasn't a bad place to go. Very beautiful. And you got to see a very nice national park, very nice ocean views, very dramatic. In the end, I recommend everybody go to a national park. Go west, go east, go north, go whichever direction you want. You won't regret it. Go and explore. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Dr. Stevens. Could I have a timer's report, please, Lenny?
You may indeed, Eric. Our first speaker, Steve, spoke for 6:36. He qualified. Kate went a little bit long, 8:56. I'm not sure if we're giving her the benefit of the doubt because she cut it down from a 10 to 15. That's up to the club to decide. And Gerald qualified at 7:02. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. Should we put Kate into the mix? No? Oh, everybody's saying yes, Kate. The majority says yes, so let's throw Kate into the voting.
Thanks, guys.
Please. Please cast your vote for Kate, Steve, or Dr. Stevens. All right. I like to call on Dave Licata real quick because we haven't heard from him about his grandmother before we dive into our evaluations. So, Mr. Licata, are you still there? Oh. All right, well, Dave is not on yet, so we'll leave him be. So, all right. Let's go into our evaluations. Let's start with our evaluator number 1, Joe Budnick, evaluating Steve's speech.
Good morning. So, Steve, we always enjoy listening to you, always enjoy your speeches, and I think we felt your pain. We felt your frustration. You really brought it to life this morning. I think we've all been there. We can all sympathize. We've all had to have wrestling matches with our insurance company, having to do what they tell you to do, even though that's not what you want to do. So while I was listening to you having this visitor come to your house, I was waiting for you to say I finally hauled off and punched the guy or slugged him really hard. I think you were ready to at that point, weren't you? Weren't you? Like I said, we felt your pain. I think you also realized that these were things that this guy had to do. That was his job, even though you didn't agree with it and didn't feel it was necessary. I guess he had some protocols that he had to follow. But like I said, we've all been there. We all sympathize with you giving your story about having to deal with this and having to deal with insurance and that sort of thing. We've all had. I've had to deal with my insurance companies at times too when I didn't like to have to do it. And follow your doctor's orders. It's very important. And that was a good message that you gave across to follow doctor's orders. We all need to do that. If I have to say any room for improvement, sometimes when you were talking, you weren't looking directly at the camera, you'd look down a little bit, and we kind of lost you there a little bit. So a little more eye contact. But otherwise, it was a great speech. It was funny. It was informative. And I'm glad that visitor in your house was able to leave your house without having to see a doctor himself, because I think you were ready to really give it to him. But I think he had your best interest in hearts, though, at heart at the time, too. So thank you, Steve, for a great speech, informative speech, and thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Our second evaluator this morning, evaluating Kate's speech, is Maggie Craig. Take it away, Maggie.
Good morning again. So I love listening to Kate speak. She's very clear. She's a great leader. And so thank you, Kate, for getting a great subject as well. Great, great, great. Oh, my special word of the day, my own, not love, but great. You took on a topic that was very special to me, and that is navigating this website. I learned a lot from the things that you showed us on the website today. However, I do think you should have taken the 20 minutes. I think we needed the 20 minutes. And I think that if we weren't going to have 20 minutes to look at the website, that what we could have had was just, we're going to look at these three things. And I think that we started going off into tangents with other things like your scheduling and so it's a big topic all by itself. And if you just pick two or three things that we could have used on a regular basis to help us start our use of the website, we may have gotten more out of it. And again, more time. I could have listened 20 minutes, could have listened half an hour, probably an hour. I mean, I really enjoyed the topic. And I think that in the future, I would like to see you do it again. I would, and go into it more. And there's other sites that we could look at in the same vein or regarding Toastmasters, go into the international, somebody take us through pathways. This is a great speech topic, and I encourage anybody else, including Kate, who is actually a good speaker, to do that again. Also, one tiny thing, I think that, and I know you didn't mean to do this, but when we call somebody out, I think sometimes, I get my feelings hurt easily. Not that you called me out, but I do get my feelings hurt a little when people say, "Hey, you didn't do this," and I know, oh, I did, and so just a little gentler. Your tone was sometimes, because you were rushed and you're trying to pack in all this great information, your tone sounded a little harsh. And I know that's not you. I know you're a very loving person and you care so much about this organization and you're really trying to help. So just be aware that when you get rushed, it sounds like and dial it back a bit. Anyway, I loved it. I look forward to another educational speech from you. And thank you for taking the time to guide us through the AM Lockport website. Back to you, Toastmaster. Sir Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Maggie. And our final evaluator evaluating Dr. Stevens' speech is Marty Johnston. Take it away, Marty.
Thank you, Eric, fellow Toastmasters, and especially Gerald. Gerald never lets us down with his stories, and today definitely didn't let us down with his speech. Connect with storytelling. He told us about his speech, his trip to 3 national parks. Wow, I don't think I've been to one national park, and Gerald's been to almost all of them. Amazing. Gerald has a wonderful ability to connect with storytelling. I feel he accomplished his goal. The PowerPoint made the speech, and you were able to flawlessly use PowerPoint to describe and actually show us those places where you went. Each one, it was very organized. The pictures were clear, and it made your points along the way. A couple things that I made note of to work on. I don't know if you did this during your speech or not. I was focusing on the PowerPoint, but have your personal picture or your face next to the actual PowerPoint. Did you have that set up like that or no? I don't.
Yeah, I think one person.
You know what I
did
mean?
that.
Like a side by side. I was so focused on the pictures, I didn't see that. The reason I say that is perhaps you could have shown more gestures that way. I know initially before it came on, I know I saw a lot of hand gestures and different cues that you were using, and it was very enjoyable. And then I just was so focused on the PowerPoint itself, I didn't know if you had your picture still on there or your personal picture. Just a minor point, but I think if you continue to do that and show the PowerPoint and your leave your personal picture on there, we can see reactions, your personal reaction, what you're actually want us to focus on. For example, you could have shown us or explained to us more where the hamstring muscle is located. I know it's in the back of your upper thigh. What it was interesting on how you connected that story that led into your anticipated visit to those national parks. Well, overall, Gerald, you had a great speech. I feel you accomplished your goal of these connecting with us. And then at the end, you recommended us visiting a national park. And I think I may take you up on that someday. So thank you very much. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Marty. Mr. Timer, can I have one final timer's report, please?
You may indeed, Mr. Toastmaster. Joe qualified, speaking for 152 with the buffer. Maggie, 2 minutes, 50 seconds, qualified. And Marty spoke for 3 minutes, 14 seconds, qualifying with the buffer. So all 3 evaluators qualified today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Timer. So when the poll shows up on our screen, please cast your vote for Joe, Maggie, or Marty. All right. I will like to invite now our general evaluator, Mr. David Jones, to evaluate me and our evaluators. And if you would like to as well, Mr. General Evaluator, you can call on for reports. So please help me welcome David Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, and good morning, everyone again. All right, so our Toastmaster today had a theme, and not only did he have a theme, but he showed slideshows of it. He made it personal to all of us so we could relate to why he chose this theme. So it was a great theme, and I like how you incorporated your own life into it. So thank you for that. Let me see. I also like to see us on Zoom. I know a lot of you don't like Zoom, but I see Sylvia sitting outside enjoying her backyard, and Jill's pretending to be outside, but I know that's a backdrop. But there's a couple of us who need to remember that we're on Zoom, since specifically like Joe, it's very hard to see you without the lighting. A little ring light is about $20, and it would just help when we're on Zoom to be able to see you better. And of course, Marshall, I know he's there, but I don't see him. But it's just going back to the basics of, even though you don't like being on Zoom, just practicing how to be on Zoom, because there's times where we have to be on Zoom. Now, as far as our evaluators, all three of them did the sandwich approach. I thought that's a great way to do it. You all are experienced here and you follow the rules versus other clubs I'm a part of who do not follow the rules. So I appreciate the evaluators just giving good feedback and being positive. Now, Marty's the only one I've ever seen ask a speaker for feedback or follow-up questions. I thought that was good. He just wanted to verify. And just FYI, there is a new setting in Zoom where you can actually be in the bottom of the share screen somehow. I haven't done it, but I've seen some presenters do it. So it's something you could play with on the Zoom when you give a presentation. And I believe that's all I really had. The only other thing, of course, I just saw was Joe didn't have any information on Steve's speech because there was nothing there other than the title and time, which is good, but that means it's not a pathway speech or we're not getting credit. And therefore, we always can fit a speech in the pathways somewhere. So we want to make sure whenever we give a speech, we're giving credit so the club gets credit for that. And with that, I'll move into the roles, starting with our, I'm just scanning down. How about Jill, who is not outside, as our word master? How did we do with the word? And you're on, what is it? Mute.
Okay, I am not outside. Just the timing. All of a sudden looking at the clock and it's 6:53 when the meeting is starting at 7 and you're still laying in bed is a little bit of an eye opener. So I didn't get outside. The word love, I thought would get much more usage with us talking about our grandmothers. And I didn't see it. Maggie used it a couple times in relation to a speech. It's very sad. I know I love both of my grandmothers. I didn't get to talk to them about them earlier because of the timing. But both of them took very good care of us as grandchildren. Now, Grandma Seafelt, who was my mother's mother, only had 5 grandchildren. So it was a little easier for her to give us all very individual attention. And we spent many a weekend over at Grandma's house as we were growing up. I don't know if Grandma wanted us there or if Mom and Dad wanted to get rid of us, but we were there and we spent our weekends doing all sorts of things outside, including playing kickball, which I thought was interesting when Gerald mentioned it, which unfortunately I am not good at. But the fact that I was the youngest grandchild probably played into that as well. And Grandma Roaring she had 22 grandchildren. She had 7 kids. So we didn't get the attention there, but she was loving, and we went to see her nearly every Sunday. So that is my report. There was not a lot of love in relation to our grandmothers. That's so sad.
All right, everybody say love and sing the theme of the Love Boat.
No, no.
I'll say love. You can sing for us, Eric. All right. Now our ah counter, which I have a feeling I kept her busy, but Carol Ann, how do we do with our ahs and ums?
You're on mute, Carol Ann.
I see her trying.
There. Okay. We did quite well. I didn't hear a lot of ahs because I know I'm very guilty of ahs myself. We did have quite a few so's. Gerald threw in a couple so's. And Joe did say, like I said, a couple times. And I know sometimes I'm guilty of saying that. Maggie had some ums. Marty did have a bit of a pause. Mike had a restart and said, I think he said, a couple times, but actually everyone spoke quite smoothly this morning. Mr. Evaluator.
Thank you, Carol. Appreciate it. And next up, I believe, is Philip E. Russell. Wow. I thought it was just Phil, but it's got a full name.
Yes. As grammarian, I have a love-hate relationship with this project because my grammar is not so good. One thing I saw today that I liked is that as far as grammar, most important point was I could understand and follow everyone's speaking, meaning that I understood it. To me, that's the most important part about grammar. Yes, people may have had it, but I did not pick up any gross grammatical errors. It just wasn't there for the people. They were very good. But as I said, most important part of grammar for me in Toastmasters is understand what the individual who is speaking is saying. And I understood everyone. Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Phil. Appreciate it. And finally, we have our quiz master, Mike Licata, to see if we were paying attention.
Good morning, Mr. General Evaluator. Good morning again, fellow Toastmasters. A couple of quick questions. Where would Mike Florio go with his grandmother all the time?
Bingo.
Thank you, Eric. And another cheap plug. When is Steve's next star show?
Saturday.
Thank you. And what smell did Sylvia come home to when she came home from school?
Fresh baked bread.
Thank you. And where did Dr. Stevens go first when he went out to California?
Santa Monica Pier.
Thank you. And my last question this morning is, how many national parks does California have?
9.
Thank you. That is my questions this morning, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Mr. Quizmaster. And do I announce the winners or do I turn it back to our Toastmaster? How do we, Mr.
You can turn it back over to me, but if you would like to, you can.
Did Mark send them to you? He sent them
Yeah,
to
he
me.
sent them to me.
Perfect. All right. I'll let you take over. So thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
All right, thank you very much. I know before we go into the winners, there is time. Maggie, you have a couple of things to say, so I'll turn it over to you real quick.
Hi, Kate just posted it, but I was going to mention that that the 100th. I'm so excited to be here for that first year. 100th anniversary is the international conference is coming up August 20th to the 23rd, and it's not in Pittsburgh. It's in Philadelphia. But I'm saying that as secretary because I got an email that said that we need to have proxies for our club, and they're due by August 15th. And it can be the president or the secretary that takes the proxies. I am trying to plan to go to the conference, so I should be there. And hopefully somebody in the club would like to go too, because I've asked Kate, full disclosure, but if Kate isn't available and somebody would like to go, or if other people would like to go, maybe we could drive down together or fly down together and make even share hotel rooms, who knows. Also, I want to say something about Zoom in the camera. This is important, I feel. The camera on Zoom now follows you. So we all look about the same size. And if you go back, it goes. So when people are trying to make, it wider, there's a difficulty. So when we're criticizing people for not getting up, just be aware that the camera is actually making these adjustments now. And I think that as maybe Toastmasters can figure out a way to turn that option off on Zoom so that it doesn't adjust the camera to our size and make us all the same size. Look at how beautiful we look. See? All the same size. Okay. Anyway, that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maggie. Here's a story of a lovely lady. No, I was just kidding. All right. Before I get into the renders too, I do have an announcement to make. I am your Area 11 director, and if anybody, oh, thank you. If anybody didn't see the chat, the message I just posted in the chat, it was decided for this year, we're going to be doing the humorous and tall tale speech contests. And we're going to be doing the tall tale speech contest on November 22nd, along with the District of End of the Year Awards at Robert Wesleyan University in Rochester. And we're doing the humorous contest and the District 65 conference on May 1st. And it will be right here in the Buffalo Niagara Hotel. So if anybody has any questions, please reach out to me or to Jeanette, who is our club growth director. Or if you have any other questions too, please message her or Scott, our program quality director, or Jillian Sheldon, our district director. All right, let's get to our winners this morning. Our best table topics winner is Mr. Mike Florio. Congratulations to Mike. Our best evaluator this morning is Maggie Craig. And our best speaker this morning, impromptu drum roll please, is Dr. Gerald Stevens. Congratulations to Dr. Stevens. Before I turn things over to Kate as our presiding officer, our next week's Toastmaster is Dr. Stevens. And our speakers are Joe Budnick, Phil Russell, and myself. And Tracy is our alternate speaker. So, but and since Dave is now on, I want to turn it over to him because I was trying to get his attention earlier about his grandmother. So, David, could you talk a little bit about your grandmother real quick?
We cannot hear you yet. There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh boy. I was super spoiled. A lot of you have two grandmothers. I had three. I had a maternal grandmother that when my father died, I was 2 years old. We moved in with Grandma Conlon. Grandma Conlon was indeed the caregiver for this toddler. She got this 2-year-old showed up at her house. And it's from her that I got my love of radio because she continuously had that radio on in the counter. Then on the weekends, I was sent out to Grandma Fonzie's, and Grandma Fonzie was my paternal grandmother, and she had lost her son, my father, so she couldn't spoil me enough. So now I got two ladies spoiling me. And then my godmother, Aunt Liz, she never married, never had children. So now I got two grandmothers and another mother. Liz mostly on the weekends. So that's why I'm so incredibly spoiled and so needy for attention, because I'm used to a lot of attention, having this benefit. And then Grandma Licata shows up because my mother got remarried. And what I really remember about Grandma Licata was she was Sicilian. And so at this tender young age of 5, 6 years old, I learned there's a great deal of difference between Sicilian cuisine and a Brussels cuisine. and I was more accustomed to the braised cuisine. But Grandma Licata was a trip because she's the only person I've ever seen my father be afraid of, and that was fascinating. I remembered that she went over, my father went over there, and they got into a little bit of a tiff. And my father played, he was the captain of the Lockport High football team, played semi-pro for the Lockport Essos, but he still had this little tiny Sicilian lady chasing him around the dining room table. So I never forgot that. So when it was my turn, I was 18 years old. She asked me if I was married yet. I said, I'm only 18. And then she started chasing me around the table as I'm trying not to laugh. It was something. But Grandma Fonzie's cooking, that's where my heritage starts. Grandma Conlon's love of music. I believe she played piano at for one of the the High Art Theater. Lockport used to have about 4 movie houses, and actually she took me to my first movie. So we can blame my movie fascination on Grandma Conlon. So I had 3 of them, but Grandma Fonzie, she had the magic kitchen, and she would make gnocchi. And that's why I can't get past, if I see gnocchi on the menu, it's very hard for me to get past that. So I have a long history. I have a plethora of grandmas, and it certainly was a wonderful trip. That's all, folks.
Well, and Dave, we like to say congratulations to you because you're about to be a grandpa yourself. So congratulations to you, David.
Yes, it's another day closer. I'm counting the days now, and it's going to be something. I have contemporaries that have great grandchildren, and I'm finally getting into the game. November, I will be 77, and I've got friends that were in the grandfather game ages and ages and ages ago. But better late than never.
That's right. Well, our hats off to you and to Paul and Christina and the family. Congratulations, David.
Mm-hmm. And don't forget Uncle Mike. He'll
Mike.
He'll have a new title, Uncle Mike.
Uncle Mike. Very good. All right, I will turn things over to our presiding officer, Kate, to wrap things up. Over to you, Kate.
Thank you, Eric.
I have a quick announcement, if I might.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mark and I, after the meeting for about a half hour, we're going to be testing out Google Meet as a possible alternative to Zoom. Zoom has a lot of deficiencies and frustrating aspects to it. If anybody's available right now for about a half an hour and wishes to help out with testing that, let me know.
That is a great idea. Thank you, Zoom Masters, for taking that extra time for that. Zoom certainly has its limitations. I wish I could stay. I have to get to Cheektowaga. I cannot stay. So Zoom changes. Life changes, right? Change is difficult. Toastmasters changes. The only constant in life, they say, is change. Thank you all for putting up with these changes. It does help us grow. I didn't know that about the cameras that Maggie mentioned, but once you said it, it seemed very obvious. I love the chat. Now we less frequently will chat with the wrong person because those bubbles are now split up. It's a little more to manage. We're all working on different devices, right? There's phones, there's tablets, there's laptops. Some of us have multiple laptops in front of us for different reasons. It adds to the challenges. So just be patient with one another. Be patient with yourself. We're all in a learning process, and maybe we got 3 hours of sleep last night, or maybe we forgot how to do this or that, or we're thinking more about the doctor or other things on our minds, right? I appreciate our patience. Let's keep being kind. And thank you for the gentle reminder to be kind, because I get a little snappy when I get rushed and other reasons. I wanted to thank Mark for putting the agenda in the chat. I see also that David has his hand up. So David Jones, you next. And then I have a couple of things. And it is 8:24, so we will be mindful of our time. David.
Yeah, I just posted in the chat our district calendar here in Charlotte. If for club officers, if y'all need training, we have a bunch of night dates. But if anybody's bored this Saturday, probably a nice day up there for gardening and everything. But we're doing a TLI on Zoom, so you can get your officer training. But most importantly, we have our keynote is the 2024 international speaker or winner, Luisa Montalvo, will be giving a speech as the keynote. So just if you're available, stop by and say. But also the officer trainings, we have plenty of them coming up this month. So thank you, Kate.
Thank you, David. I am proud to say all 7 of our officers have been trained. It's a record. We got it quick. However, all members can take the officer training. What time, David, is that? Eastern Standard Time, I know, but
8. Yeah. So it starts at 8. So probably around 8:15, we'll have the officer training or something like that.
folks, you can do the officer training and then come out to Big Ditch for lunch at noon if you're looking for something to do. That sounds like a great opportunity. I feel like there was more things I was going to say right there, but I am going to do this because we're at 8:25. I am going to share my screen one more time. Let's get rid of the chat. Oh, and in the chat is, if you're uncomfortable with the chat or unfamiliar with the chat, start playing around with that when you can, and you can see things on the side. I'd like to say, if you did not see in the chat, Marshall's background is so unique and dark because he is in Tibet. If you did not hear me say that or see me say that in the chat, folks, now AM
There he
Lockport
is.
has reached Tibet. Marshall, how are you feeling? A little high altitude sickness?
Yeah, I have to take oxygen.
Wow, taking oxygen.
Yeah, because it's 3,700 meters high altitude.
3,700. Well, thank you for reaching us from the high reaches of Tibet here back to Lockport. We're so pleased you could still make it to us today. I think some of our folks get lazy when we can't zoom in, when someone can zoom in from above the world, right? In many ways. Thank you, Marshall, for joining us for that. Now, I'm going to quickly, because it's now 8:26, share back to the agenda. Can you see the agenda? Can I get a yes from some? Okay, I see.
Yes.
Great. So this is today. Let's jump to next week. Gerald put in the chat that our theme is movie quotes. So let's be thinking about movie quotes. There's ways to enter the theme. There's ways to really dig in. One thing brought up was when you are speaking, enter your title. Enter maybe a speech introduction. For example, and try to do it early. We all kind of do it last minute. It's midnight on Wednesday. It's 5 a.m. on Thursday. Try to do it sooner because not everybody can access that late, right? So you put in your title, your time. If you're not doing pathways, do pathways. But if you're not, that's fine too. And maybe in the introduction, type in this particular one's not on pathways. The time is whatever the parameters are. Just connect the dots. This is a communication club. Let's communicate better, right?
Kate,
Let's showcase that. Go ahead,
Kate,
Mark.
to jump in just real quick on this point. So David Jones had made a statement that the importance of picking a project, to work towards a pathways goal. Even if you're not actively working on a pathways goal, pick something.
Thank you. Choose something. We can make it work. Today I changed the time on mine. We can't always fit a lot of speakers. And if
Sorry,
you're wondering,
I'm sorry, Kate, just to finish the thought.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
I have a go-to where I always pick entertaining speaker storytelling, but at least the evaluator has something to go by. Otherwise, they don't have time. They don't know what they're looking for in the speech. So do the evaluator a solid by picking a project. And if you're the evaluator, make sure you check it before the meeting so that you know what you're evaluating. Thanks.
Oh my gosh, thank you. So I'm going to point this out. Look at the difference here. And again, it's not to call anyone out. Already, the third speaker has plugged in their project. So look at the difference. So we just haven't gotten there yet. If you write in the speech introduction, I'd like you to work on my eye contact or my ahs and ums or whatever it is, you have to click save project. Many times I haven't done that and then it doesn't get saved. So you think you've chosen a path and then you exit out, but you have to save whatever you've entered. So save it. So we have then first speaker is Joe, second speaker is Phil, third speaker is Eric. Look, he's already plugged in this information. Because he picked a path, the evaluation form is right there. Nobody else's evaluation form is loaded. If you click on this, it takes you right to the evaluation form. He's got his title and he's got an introduction and he saved it. And we've got Tracy on deck. So that is something you can look ahead to the entire quarter and start saving those details. Some people already have. I love those who jump in. It's 8:29, so I'm going to say, let us close this meeting. I'll adjourn. I can't wait to see you all this weekend at Big Ditch at noon, and then next week's meeting. Thank you, everyone. Stick around. Are you staying on Post Toasties, or are you guys leaving to go do it elsewhere? Because